yes, yesterday, and we went through. It has again. If we're looking back to what we did yesterday, as Grand Kenchi Pardicharan Muchi and Grand Master always said, it's good to look back what you learned, what you read, what you understand, so that you can contemplate and then observe that into the heart. That's what the Buddha teaching always said. There's three things: studying, contemplating, and then practicing. Meditate on this. The practice in meditating is the essence. But in order to that, we have to observe the teaching, not kind of went through, passing through. The teaching is not right. Observing that. In order to observe the teaching, reflect that. Looking back to the teaching, read the teaching, analyzing, contemplating, and then bring the essence of meaning and put that in action, known as practicing or the meditation, as we study. So therefore, looking back to what we discussed yesterday. We discussed yesterday teachings on teachings over the refuge and bodhicitta. Those meaning, essential meaning, we went different levels as this great secret book explaining that. So we went through those things. And today, and then again, what all that frame, what we put, again, teachers put, lineage masters put. All this teaching can be, all this booklet can be summarized into three. The preparation, the principal part of the preparation part of the practices, principal part of the practices, and the concluding part of the practices. The preparation part of the practices is lineage prayers, and as well as refuge, and bodhicitta, and then preparing the areas where you're going to practice, or area, environment, kind of preparing that so that everything suits and acceptable is blended in to our kind of like situation, circumstances. Those are all known as preparation. Among that categories, we went through yesterday refuge and bodhicittas. Refuge and bodhicittas. Today we are going to talk the next stage, which is you're going to look to the page 12 here. Page 12. Accumulating the merit through 10 branch. And again, this teaching is the teachings of the inner tantras. Entire this very secret teaching, and it is teachings of the Mahayoga, essence teachings of Mahayoga, essence teachings of the Anu Yoga, and essence teachings of the Mahaadi. United together these three inner tantra teachings. So therefore, this accumulating the merit is all also inner tantra, Dzogchen views. From the Dzogchen viewpoint, looking to the world and accumulating the merits and engaging in activity. You're standing firmly in the state of the Dzogchen or the true nature state. From there, you are encompassing everything. That is what it is. But however, again, we should talk again that with basic general, what means accumulating the merit. Accumulating the merit generally means boosting up your immune systems. It's true, the immune systems. Immune system is something that we all have. It's not something that we don't have. We have to activate it. This is a spiritual Dharma immune system that you have to activate it. That energy. Then what it comes? Energy strong. Good. In order to bring up the immune system, the energy of the spiritual, what things? We need things that have to do where things are apparent, where nature is calling to us, where nature is. We are part of nature. It's not something that we are out of nature. We are part of the nature. We often polluted ourselves. We make pollutions. Of course, when people say the pollution outside, those are industrial, material levels too. But often we polluted by unknowingly with our attitude, our mind, this duality mind, thinking we are doing something important, beautiful, special, but it turned out we completely blurred out. Our environment, our system, our energy, and then we can decline instead of going up. Therefore, we have to boost up, bring up the vitality of the good things. And actually this is known as then, often I'm sure many of you heard and know that. This is known as true accumulations. Accumulating the two things. What you're accumulating, you're gathering and building up the good immune systems of the energy. And through two different techniques. These two different techniques related with the external situation or our natures. That is known as in Buddha's teaching, relative truth. In absolute truth, there is truth. Absolute truth and a relative truth. Relative truth means relative world, relatively, what we perceived. And by body, by speech, and by mind. All these are relatives. In form, sound, and space. These are all relatives. In order to boost up our energy systems, the immune system of the merit, good things, what we have to do? We have to do the good things. That's something that matched with our inner qualities. Our inner quality of nature or mind is kindness, compassion, love, and wisdoms, joy and appreciation. That is our inner quality of the mind. Often we do the activity, what we do, because of duality, because of pollution, we do contrary of those many times. Even there is reason to be joy and happy and appreciated, we don't really appreciate it. We don't feel joy. We don't satisfy. Because ego and duality is something to always greedy, hungry, and all the time never is enough. And we turn down completely, wasted, and it diluted our system of the environment completely. Therefore, now we have to build up our environment externally with good, joy, appreciation, love, kindness, compassion, and activity of that. That is innerly sizzling qualities of your heart and your mind. But with joy and appreciation, respect, kindness, compassion, when we begin to reflect it through the verbal and through physically, that is what brings up, boosts up the good quality, which is known as the Buddha teaching, accumulating the merit. You're gathering, you're building up the muscles, spiritual muscles. So we not become fragile, perishable at any moment. We can standing tall and firm and hardy every situation of the samsara activity, whatever is happening externally, that we can stand. Read all those great master life stories, how they stand tall. They're not out of the samsara. You read all those books. Even in the Buddha's time, all those great arhatas, they're not out of the samsara, the environment. They're standing firm, strong and tall, and went through that and changed everything around situation, circumstances. That is known as the accumulating the merits, good things, good activities of love, joy, appreciation, as I said. Those are all known as merit activities. And then related with every physical activities, good things, such as in the Buddha teaching or the Vajrayana teaching, mudra practices, prostration, taking refuge, developing bodhicitta, or expanding the bodhicitta, mandala offerings, all those activities, and such as generosity practices, morality practices, patient, tolerance practices, combined with joy and love, appreciation, blended in together. All those are known as the accumulating merit. Something that we can walk, we can deal with verbally, mentally, and physically activities. That is known as the accumulation merit of the relative truth, relative levels. This merit is so important. There is also beautiful stories. I mean, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni in the teaching said, 3 countless eons he accumulated the true merit. He built up the true merit, one after another. That's why Buddha reached the enlightenment. He built up all that. And this merit is what is so important and so special. And this is just one of the stories Buddha told ancient times. Again, is the Buddha's teachings. Ancient time, for example, even the smallest things. If it's right in crucial time, right moment, if it bear the biggest fruit. Good biggest fruit. Again, the same way, if it's a small activity, if it's a wrong moment, a wrong thing, it again brings very big bad results. I mean, that we all know that. And this is the ancient time in the Buddha's teaching said, ancient time, one time there's drought. Drought came areas. All harvesters burned down, completely burned down. And the purpose of not having enough food. There's a very wealthy family, has 6 family members. Family members in the teaching said 2 couples, and two couples. So that means father and a mother, and then they have son and his wife, a couple, and they have one servant. Also, the servant is a wife, also male and female. So there is 6 pairs, man and woman, 3 women, 3 men. But this family is so wealthy, but however, draw it is so sweet, they are so generously and giving to the others their food and their time, and then also now many people are already dying. And also they are going to die soon. But however, in the teaching said, they went through all their treasure, where they saved the food compartments, or what's called pantry. They went through all their pantries and trying to scrapping every grains, their food, and they got 1 handful, or 1 dishful, so I think maybe 1 dishful got food, the grains. But now they have 6 family members. This is not going to enough. I mean, this is just only one. Sooner or later, they are going to die too. So because at that moment, well, they gathered that and hand for that gathered that grain. At that moment, there is one right at the door. One sage came asking food. Sage. And in the Buddha teaching, it's a particular Buddhas, solitary enlightened beings. Solitary enlightened beings. He came right in front of their doors, asking food. They don't have anything to give except that. And the father told to mother, what do you think, sir? Should I give to him this one? But because anyway, this is not enough for us. If we share, and after that, if we share this, we will die. I mean, that will help us. But if we give that to one person, really it will make difference. It will make help to that person, that individual. So what do you think? Shall I give? We should give that to him. The wife said, yes, I agree what you say. And they asked to their son and a daughter, not daughter, the son's wife. They said the same thing. We should give them. Then they asked their servant, wife, and a servant, also servant. They asked. They said the same thing. We agree. I agree everything what it is. So then they graciously offered that to that solitary sage. And the moment they offered that solitary sage, graciously, in the teaching said, this solitude that enlightened being is enlightened beings. Immediately he started performing such extraordinary realization activities, known as miraculous activities. He performed. They're so moved by that. And same time what they did, made what they did, what they prayed when they offered. I'm sorry, I'm not telling you. When they prayed, that what they did, what they prayed when they give that things, that food to this master. Said, by this offering, made there is no payment. They really did that. But same time they did this sages, all these activities, enlightenment activities, and they moved so much. And the moment power of that inspiration in the teaching said, power of that merit, immediately their empty pantries are filled with food. In the teaching, filled with food. Not just only that, immediately started to raining. Rain don't come down. So it began to prevent the drought and the famines to the whole world, or whole that areas that time. And that is not just happened in the teaching. It said 500 lifetimes they experience result come one after another. That. And that was also in the time of the Buddha Shakyamuni Muni time, and they was born. These 6 families members are so full. And the teaching said, according to that teaching, said this the family kind of that the group, just life after life, they come together as like that, as like team came together one after another. In the Buddha Shakyamuni's lifetime, they are known as the Lok family, Luga, Luga, I think, Luk families. Luk families in the teaching said, wherever they look by their eyes, it brings abundance. It really brings abundance. And then many disciples get kind of doubt why they can do that. And that's what the Buddha gave these stories. That's why they did this such a significant generosity activity that time, and sacrifice in a way their lives to do that. Ever since for 500 lifetimes, they've been experienced that, and even this time, that's how they are in that. So this is a result of the merit choice. Buddha said in the teaching. When we do the merits activity, and then similarly there's